Hello, wonderful listeners. Today, I'm going to share an extraordinary story with you, the story of Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. Before we begin, let me tell you why this story is so special. Imagine someone who was told they had only 2 years to live, but instead lived for more than 50 years and changed our understanding of the universe. Stephen Hawking's story is not just about science, it's about courage, determination, and the amazing power of the human mind. So, get comfortable, and let's explore the incredible journey of a man who studied black holes while battling a condition that kept him wheelchair-bound for most of his life. Our story begins in Oxford, England, on January 8, 1942. Stephen was born exactly 300 years after the death of another famous scientist, Galileo Galilei. How amazing is that coincidence? His parents were both very clever people. His father was a medical researcher, and his mother studied politics and economics at Oxford. As a young boy, Stephen was very curious about how things worked. His family wasn't wealthy, but they were highly educated. At home, they would often have deep discussions about the universe during dinner time. Young Stephen and his siblings would look up at the stars from their garden, wondering about the mysteries of space. In school, Stephen wasn't always the best student. Surprise. His handwriting was very messy, and his teachers thought he was a bit lazy. But his classmates nicknamed him Einstein because they could see how brilliant he was at maths and science. He loved to take things apart to see how they worked, including clocks and radios, though he didn't always manage to put them back together. When Stephen went to Oxford University at age 17, he found his studies almost too easy. He didn't spend much time on his work but still got excellent grades. He decided to study physics because he wanted to understand the biggest questions about our universe. How did it begin? What are the rules that govern everything in space? But life was about to present Stephen with an enormous challenge. While studying for his PhD at Cambridge University, at just 21 years old, he started having trouble walking and speaking. After many tests, doctors gave him terrible news. He had a motor neuron disease, ALS. They told him he would probably live for only 2 more years. Can you imagine how devastating this news was? But Stephen decided to do something remarkable. He chose not to give up. Instead of feeling sorry for himself, he threw himself into his research. He later said that his condition made him work harder because he knew his time might be limited. As his body became weaker, his mind grew stronger. He began making incredible discoveries about black holes, those mysterious places in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. He discovered that black holes aren't completely black. They actually release tiny particles, which scientists now call Hawking radiation in his honor. Here's something fascinating. As Stephen lost his ability to speak, he had to find new ways to communicate. He used a special computer that could speak for him. He controlled it by moving a single cheek muscle. With this machine, He could give lectures, write books, and even tell jokes. Yes, Stephen Hawking loved to tell jokes and had a wonderful sense of humor. His most famous book, A Brief History of Time, has sold more than 10 million copies worldwide. In this book, he explained complicated ideas about space and time in ways that ordinary people could understand. That's quite amazing, isn't it? Did you know that Stephen also appeared in many TV shows? He was in The Big Bang Theory, Star Trek, and even The Simpsons. He showed everyone that being disabled didn't mean you couldn't have fun and enjoy life. Despite being confined to a wheelchair, Stephen traveled all over the world to give talks about science. He even experienced zero gravity in a special airplane. The photos of him floating and smiling are truly inspiring. Stephen Hawking's achievements in science were enormous. He developed theories about how the universe began with the Big Bang and made groundbreaking discoveries about black holes. But perhaps his greatest achievement was showing the world that disabilities don't have to stop you from doing amazing things. He once said, "However difficult life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at." These words weren't just empty encouragement, he lived them every day of his life. Sadly, Stephen Hawking passed away on March 14, 2018, which happened to be Albert Einstein's birthday and also Pi Day, 3.14. Even the day he left us had a mathematical connection. He lived for 76 years, far longer than the doctors had predicted, and changed our understanding of the universe forever. What can we learn from Stephen Hawking's story? First, never let anyone tell you what you can't do. Second, even the biggest challenges in life can be overcome with determination and courage. And finally, our minds have no limits. We can explore the entire universe with our thoughts and imagination. Before we end today's story, think about this. Stephen Hawking could barely move a muscle, but his mind traveled to the farthest reaches of the universe. He showed us that what matters most is not what our bodies can do, but what our minds can imagine. Thank you for listening to the story of Stephen Hawking, a brilliant scientist who showed us that the human spirit can overcome any obstacle. Remember, whenever you look up at the stars at night, you're looking at the same mysteries that fascinated Stephen throughout his life. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember that your mind is the most powerful tool you have. As Stephen Hawking proved, with determination and curiosity, you can unlock the secrets of the universe.